name is Tumi Adeyemi. I'm the CEO and founder of Xenolink Technology Limited. We are the technology service provider to the Lagos State taxi scheme called Lagos Ride.
Hi, my name is Eve Chukuma. I am the product manager for Xenolink Technologies and also the product manager for the product Lagos Ride.
As you are aware, the governor launched Lagos Ride on the 25th of March to much applause from the people that were present and also to the benefit of Lagosians. Lagos Ride itself takes its history in the quest of this administration to revamp the public transportation sector. Over time, you would see that pockets of investments have been made in different subsectors in that space. So you've seen what the administration has done with the Blue Line, also with the buses and the first mile and last mile buses, and a lot of investments have also gone into the ferry system just to activate the water transportation. And of course, we know there is a market that still work with cabs and cars, and so it made sense that government also makes some sort of intervention in that space also. At the inception of this administration, Mr. Governor and a few of his cabinet members took a trip to China, and they were at Guangzhou, and they had a lot of meetings with the guys there. And GAC, the Guangzhou Automobile Company, had expressed interest in making some investments in Africa, and as it is with Lagos, always positioning itself as the preferred investment destination, Mr. Governor and his team made a move, and so a joint venture agreement was signed that will see us have a local assembly plant set up here for GAC brand. So Lagos State, in conjunction with Choice International Group, which is the franchise owner for the GAC brands in Nigeria, went into that joint venture agreement. And to demonstrate the viability of this market, Lagos State placed an order for 1,000 brand new SUVs and sedans of that arrangement, and hence Lagos Ride.
As a product manager, my involvement in the product is product managers are usually the advocates for the users in the entire product development lifecycle. My responsibilities are like searching, gathering, and then making sure that I am prioritizing the user at every point in time throughout the development of the product.
Look at the journey experience of the average Lagosian trying to commute in Lagos. The sum total of that experience is typically negative and unattractive. So if you take public transportation, for example, number one, your bus stops that are meant to be value centers are nuisance centers, right? The idea of unpredictability and the fact that that entire system is not reliable. So you cannot show up at the bus stop with an expected time of departure in mind, because you do not know what you are going to meet there. You might meet a bus, but the bus might not be ready to move till the bus is filled up. And even when the bus is filled up, the bus driver has no qualms with stopping multiple times along the route to pick up other passengers. And all of that just makes planning or journey management for you extremely difficult. Hence why people prefer to drive their own cars. The biggest cause of traffic congestion in Lagos is the sheer amount of single occupancy vehicles on the road. Everybody has their cars on the road. Why? Because public transportation as it is not reliable, and it's not the fault of the citizen, right? If you look at the vehicle density per kilometer of road, the average for Nigeria is 11 vehicles per kilometer of road. Lagos has 227 vehicles per kilometer of road. It's a miracle you're able to get from one point to the other in the first place in Lagos. So given all of that, and in trying to solve that problem, you first of all, you must solve for the people who are on the road. Who are the people on the road? The people on the road constituting traffic are not the people inside the buses. The people on the road constituting traffic are the people driving their own cars. What are these people looking for? 1, comfort. 2, predictability. 3, reliability. So any solution that is not going to bring those 3 things will not make a dent in addressing the problem of traffic congestion in Lagos. If you flood Lagos with buses today, there are people in Lagos that will not be caught dead in the bus. And you need to understand that you are talking about 22 million people. So if you say 1% of Lagosians will not be caught dead in the bus, you are saying about 220,000 people will not be caught dead in the bus. If those 220,000 people put their cars on the road, you are heading for a gridlock. That is exactly what is happening. There is the role of mass transportation and public transportation, but you also need to understand the brand equity and emotional connection and affinity the average Lagosian has towards owning a car. It is a symbol of success. So everybody that you see in a bus today is aspiring to own a car at some point. Would you tell them to take their cars off the road? No. But if we can create a system that allows people put their cars at home and join with other people and still enjoy the same benefit of riding their own cars without the attendant consequence of traffic congestion, then you are making a step towards trying to solve that problem. And that's the premise around the technology driving Lagos Ride. It's about connecting people together based on similar transit patterns. And Lagos is structured in a very linear way. We move in clusters. At every point in time, you can tell for a fact that you have more than one person heading in a particular direction. So why can't we put these people together and let's move and reduce the amount of time we spend commuting daily? So Lagos Ride is taking its premise from all of those things to say, number one, we want to build a system that is reliable, which means our technology is easily accessed. Our technology is running on microservices. Our technology is such that it is easy for you to use. We built with the user in mind. We didn't create a solution and then start looking for a problem. We saw a problem, analyzed it, and then built a solution around that problem.
Customer experience also is one of the most important aspects of this entire initiative. With existing service providers, one of the issues that we've always known users to complain about has been the fact that nobody responds to them, or it takes a long time to actually get someone to give you feedback on queries or inquiries being made. So the customer support has been embedded on the mobile phone of the users also to help them reach support easily. You can call, there's a live chat there as well on the mobile app to actually chat with an available agent. And then also for how to use the application, you also have FAQs embedded inside the app. You also have the chatbots that can easily respond to questions that frequently asked questions as well. So we've put all this in place to ensure that users are always attended to at every point in time, and they have someone they can easily talk to and reach easily.
The business model of other service providers focuses on prioritizing user acquisition, right? However, what we've done with Lagos Ride is to understand what the expectations of the stakeholders in the value chain, what their expectations are, and try to meet that expectation. It is in meeting that expectation for everyone that you produce the outcome called a great mobility experience for the end user. So it's not about prioritizing the need of one above the others. It's about moderating it and looking for a level ground to ensure that everybody gets value for what they bring to the table. Like I said, we are Lagosians, we've experienced this. I remember coming to Lagos for the first time, and I had to take a cab from Mende to Ikeja, and I was asked to pay 1,000 naira, and this was in 2005. And for me, it was extremely ridiculous. Why? Because where I'm coming from, I would have paid 30 naira for the same thing. What's the difference? Where I'm coming from, 3 of us will sit in the back of a car, 2 of us will sit in the front. Actually, we've been doing ride sharing from time immemorial. We just didn't call it ride sharing, right? Lagos is the only place you will come to and one person is trying to sit inside a car and therefore paying full value for unoccupied seats, right? And if you have the purchasing power to do that, then there is no problem. But there are a lot of people who do not have that means. There are people today who are in the buses who have more than enough to pay, but not enough to pay sustainably for the other service providers because it's expensive. But they'll be able to pay a little bit more to enjoy a different type of transit experience, different from what they see in the buses. But the buses are the next available option, so they are stuck there. Think about your entire workforce. Think about the entry-level people to mid-management level. Think about people earning anything from 100,000 naira to about 400 to 500,000 naira. That's a huge portion of the workforce. These guys cannot afford to put aside 60, 80,000 naira on transportation daily. They have other things they have to spend that money on. Lagos is a metropolitan city. Life here, cost of living is expensive. So at every point in time that you can save on cost, people will deal. Today, people are coming together to get inside a car already. They are doing it by themselves. So if I'm coming from work, your colleague calls you, I will join you. We are doing it already. So why not formalize it and socialize it and make it available for every other person to use? But the fine details of it would have to come from having an acute understanding of the local nuances of the market, the culture of the people, how the people are hardwired, their thinking, what their expectations are. You don't deal things like that from afar. You need to be there, you need to be present. And I dare say that is what makes Lagos Ride different from every other ride-hailing service provider. It is that we know we are there, we are the customers. We are not just some business trying to make money. We will make money by all means, but we are also the customers. We are the users. We were first Lagosians before we became tech bros and ride-hailing solution service providers and all of those things. So it is us building a solution to solve our own problem, and nothing beats that, really.
The system has a wallet system specifically built for riders and the drivers themselves. So once you're a user on the platform, you already have a wallet. The payment comes from, the riders can actually fund their wallets by using a card system transfer, and then they're able to fund their wallets and have money sitting in their wallet at all points in time. Then the drivers on the other hand also receive their revenue in that same wallet, and they can actually transact with the wallet as well at every point in time. So also the wallet is very secure. It's backed up with a multilateral security protocol that ensures that at every point in time, both authentication and everything that is related to payments are done securely on the platform. I have two favorite features. One would be the FDT, and the second one would be the ability to fund my wallet with cash. Seeing that most of the time with public transportation, the issue has always been the issues that we have with public transportation has always been the issue of change, because then you have to fight your conductor to give you back your balance after you are light. But with cash to fund wallets, for every transaction you do, you can actually the value of that transaction can be deducted from the driver's wallet, and then you can give the driver cash actually to fund your wallet. And I think and I say that's my favorite feature because it actually solves an actual problem. Because when you finish a trip, you just want to move. You don't want to have to sit back with the driver and start exchanging words about, oh, you don't have the balance, you don't have my balance, or you have my balance, or whatever. So if that's the case, after a trip, and then you make a payment, if you don't want to use your card to make payments, you can easily just give the driver cash, and then the value is deducted from his wallet that he has credited already initially. And also, most of the time, people, when we move around, we have loose change that we don't know what to use the money for, or maybe it's just loose change. But at this point now, it means that you can just gather that loose change you have in your hand and give it to driver, and you have money, you have value, and you have money in your wallet to actually transact or go on trips. And that's one of them. And then the FDT, which is the fixed daily transit, is also very useful for the 9 to 5 people, even mothers actually. You need to take your kid to school, and most of the time you can't afford to take an Uber, and then you are forced to go to the bus station and then wait for a bus, and then you are trying to lap your 2 kids together or whatever. But with FDT, you can actually schedule your kids' itinerary from school to home and walk to school for a very long time, and then when you get your salary, so when you have money, you can actually set a budget for that, credit your wallet with that amount of money, and then every morning you have a ride come to your home to pick up your kids. And it's safe. There are dash cams in the vehicle that can actually monitor your kids' movements. On the mobile app yourself, as the mother, you can actually watch your child, and you can watch the transit from where your child was picked up to where your child is dropped off at school. And I think that is a very useful feature for the average Lagosian. Yeah.
It's about understanding the expectations of all the stakeholders, right? So the investor in this is Lagos State. What's Lagos State looking for? Number one, great transit experience, and ensure that the investment doesn't go bad. So recoup the amount invested in the scheme. Good. What are the drivers or the operators looking for? Profit. That means unit economics must work. So you have to balance your costs with how you must balance demand and supply, so that the revenue coming in can justify the investment of the cost, and the cost of the investment. And what are the riders looking for? Really, a great mobility experience at the cheapest rates possible. So the entire cost structure of this has been spread over a period of 4 years, and that cost structure was designed exclusively around ensuring a great net position for the driver. Now, the cost of the asset is about 7.5 million for a brand new SUV and a sedan. They are by no means small cars. So I mean, you can look them up yourself, and you can compare that to the market rate, what the selling price is in the market, the retail price. One. Secondly, we've asked drivers to come in with an equity contribution of 20%, and then an additional fee to take care of their verification and registration and all of those other things that gets them qualified to be on the scheme. We are providing a mobile device for the drivers, because we know part of the things they will complain about is, I don't have a phone, or the type of phone I'm using cannot this, cannot that. So we are trying to remove all the excuses. And then there is an entire security suite that we've put in place. These are the things that make up your cost lines. There is a percentage that we are taking for rendering all of this service, aside from those 3 things that I've listed. So we are taking 25% off each fare. From that 25%, 4% of it is going back into maintenance and insurance. So no Lagos Ride car or driver will be required to drive to a mechanic workshop at any point in time. There is an automated maintenance module on Lagos Ride on the app. Once your car is due for maintenance, there is an automated schedule already. take the car in for maintenance, they carry it out, your car comes out. You don't need to deal with any of that, right? There is insurance. So if you are in an accident, you are protected, you are covered. Also, you need to understand that a lot of the outcry is also coming from a faulty paradigm. You know, we don't like to pay for services. So when we see great service, in our mind we just assume it's free because we do not like to pay for service. So when people are asking for payment for services, we tend to kick against it sometimes, right? Now, that being said, your repayment plan daily. When we started this, the drivers were required to pay about 7,000 naira, slightly above 7,000 naira daily on the cost of the asset. We had revised that down to 5,852 naira in a day for a brand new car. Your total cost element is about 49 to 52% of your earnings. And based on the calculations we did with the existing drivers, they had said they travel about 150 kilometers in a day and cover 600 minutes daily. And we use the existing transit time fee and distance fare. They make about 28 to 32,000 naira in a day. All of the cost I've described now, including fueling, represents about 50 to 52% of that, leaving your driver at every point in time with a net position ranging from 10,000 naira to 14,000 naira daily. By the way, this is without ride sharing. With ride sharing, for every kilometer of ride that you fulfill, you earn more, because you now have multiple people paying you for the same cost requirements and cost element required to fulfill that service. I dare say to you that at optimal capacity, the net position of a Lagos ride driver could range from 18 to 20,000 naira daily. I can tell you for a fact that Lagos ride is way far more profitable than any other thing out there today. And numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. So you can do the numbers by yourself. It's out there for anybody to work with, right? At the end of the day, your total cost of ownership at the end of 4 years for those assets is less than 8.5 million naira for a brand new car. You still have resale value after that 4 years. You didn't deal with any maintenance issues, everything taken care of for you. What more could you ask for?
As a user, once you're on a trip, you have the ability to click on an SOS button in the app once you notice, once you feel like you're in danger, and then a click on that actually sends a message to the appropriate emergency response unit, and then someone would immediately call the driver and then call the rider. Also, we have a service center where people can actually see what's going on in the vehicle because of the dash cams that have been installed 360 around the vehicles and also inside the vehicle. So the emergency response units can actually take feeds from this video and then analyze it and know how to respond immediately. Also, that feature also allows a message to be sent, a text message to be sent to the mobile device of a specific number, just in case these emergency response units are taking their time as it is with, I don't know, but there is actually a phone number that a text message is being sent to, and then in-house from the product side, people can actually start reaching out to emergency response unit to actually deal with the issue at hand. Yeah.
Something to also note is that we chose a maximum payout period of 4 years. That scheme can actually pay itself out in 1.5 years. But we also understand that because we are giving cars out at discounted prices, people are going to come, take the cars, pay down and exit. And that defeats the essence of the system. And that is why we put a policy that says you have to commit to the daily repayment plan for a minimum of 2 years, because we know you are going to have a lot of margin after you've covered your costs, and therefore you can retire your margins straight into netting out your debt with Lagos Ride. But we said no, commit to this payment plan for 2 years. After that, you can pay anyhow that you want. Now, after 4 years, ideally, we want to stay compliant with the Lagos state law around public transportation. You should not have assets older than 4 years from the date of manufacture on the road. So what we are advocating, or what we are trying to do, is to have a buyback mechanism in place that will allow drivers sell off those assets, and if they wish to, they can reinvest and get brand new cars back in the road. Also, they have appealed, based on our consultations, to give an extension of a year or two, and we are willing to accommodate that. But the most important thing is that we will not compromise on our experience, on the promise of ensuring that the experience we give the end user is a positive and great one, and that includes ensuring that the car is not rickety, because the older the car becomes, the less safe it is. It constitutes nuisance to the environment, so it has its own disadvantage. As much as it may look good or okay to keep it on the road, it has its own disadvantages, and we know this, and that is why we've created a 360 loop of take the car, put it to work over this period of time. There is a buyer that will take it off you after that period of time, and you can reinvest if you so wish.
Well, the metrics for success for Lagos Ride is basically customer experience, and it doesn't take too long to actually see that, or actually to measure that. You can tell from the number of people that come back to use the system, the number of people that would book their FDTs and use the same means of transportation every single day, and the feedback they also give to us, and then the experience in general with the product. So yes, customer experience is actually the success metrics for Lagos Ride, because the product was built for the Lagosians, and as soon as they start enjoying the product and it's changing the way they move, it is a clear metrics that can be measured by not just us on the product side, but actually by everyone as in general. Yeah.
Consequences are clear to everyone, so you know. I mean, if there is no consequence, then you might as well do whatever it is you want to do. The idea that you can do anything and get away with it is arguably one of the biggest reasons why our society is almost lawless, because people know they can do stuff and get away with it. But that is not going to happen here. It is clear in our ethics book that we've shared with the drivers. If you do this, this is what is going to happen. There is no appealing it, and that is why we've put an independent source of information there. Did you slap a user? It does not matter what the impulse or what caused it. No. Did you do it? Yes. For doing this, this is the consequence. Simple and clear. We are building profiles around the users. So the more well behaved you are, the better your chances of being a Lagos Ride user. If you are also not well behaved, your chances of being a Lagos Ride user reduces, and it might get to a point where you are completely banned from using Lagos Ride. That's it. And if you commit a criminal offense, be rest assured that we will provide all the evidence to the appropriate authority to penalize you. When you are registering, we are collecting certain information from you. We will ask you to provide your home address. We will ask you to provide your work address. And then you will see a screen asking you, do you want to set up your work or home address? We call that thing FDT, fixed daily transit. What that says is there are people that have fixed routine daily. With that information, what Lagos Ride technology algorithm will do is it will match people that are within a 1 kilometer radius and with a pickup time that is not more than 5 minutes apart. So the ride will come and then pick you guys up. So it's like a car can pick you up from here and the next person is picking up is the person just up the street. That is how the algorithm was built. So the more information, the more data we collect, the easier it is for us to do ride sharing. Also, for people who want to take on-demand trips, it is available. There are options for you. You can decide to ride alone, just that you will pay higher. That is all. If you so wish to, it's about giving you options. And the ride sharing, with the ride sharing also, you have the opportunity to determine the number of people you want to share with. You can decide you want to share with 1 person or 2 people, but a maximum of 3 people, right? So at every point in time, we understand that Lagosians don't joke with their time. We understand that. That is why we prioritized our algorithm around proximity. You are not more than 1 kilometer apart and your pickup time is not more than 5 minutes apart.
Okay, so everyone is eligible. However, the minimum academic requirement is a secondary school cert, yes. And then regardless, everyone comes on board and we still have to carry out additional verification and background checks before we actually approve you as a driver on Lagos Ride. Yes, we encourage female drivers to sign up. We've also had a call for female drivers to join the scheme initially when we started newly. Also, during the entire user acceptance test, we also reached out to female drivers in the ride-hailing industry as well to come and then give us their own feedback and then what they feel like we can do better for them during product development. So yes, it's very inclusive and we've always had female drivers at the back of our mind. And yeah, so if you're a female driver and you are interested in driving, you can actually go on the app and then sign up. There's no discrimination.
So Lagos State government basically treated this transaction as an intervention. They looked at the ecosystem. They realized that it's extremely difficult to get private investors to take on that risk because the transportation sector is a bit volatile. The risk elements it's a high risk transaction and a state government is the only entity that has the risk capacity to accommodate that. So Lagos State intervened by making that investment and they put a steering committee in place to select the service provider, and they are dealing, all of that transaction is being executed through the Lagos State investment company called Ibile Holdings, and it kind of shields Lagos Ride away from the bureaucracy that we are used to in government parlance. So I would say Lagos State reasonably limited itself to the intervention in the acquisition and purchase of the cars. So far, Ibile Holdings and our management has been able to take the reins of building and driving Lagos Ride. First and foremost, I'm not privy to the context and the nuances of those transactions, why they fizzled out. We don't know that, right? And frankly speaking, we won't concern ourselves with those things, right? What I know is that we have a plan in place. There is a focus in place, and that focus is exclusively around service delivery for the stakeholders. And listen, it's the marketplace. The marketplace rewards good performance regardless of any client. So we will tie our sustainability to our ability to provide great service in the marketplace. So let the marketplace determine our fate. we have done everything we know to do. So the marketplace will determine our fate. So like I said earlier, Lagos State went into a joint venture with Choice International Group, the franchise owners for GAC, a brand of vehicles in Nigeria. So they are the suppliers and the manufacturers of the cars. They are going to remain there with us because maintenance and service rest with them. And like I said, we've automated that process. So there is a straight path between us and GAC to ensure that those obligations are met as at when due. First and foremost, 1,000 brand new cars on the road implicitly means you are about to create jobs for 1,000 new drivers. In addition, each of those drivers have the opportunity to introduce 2 or 3 proxy drivers who can drive in their place. So by extension, Lagride is creating employment for about 3,000 to 4,000 people just with this fleet size. And as we increase that fleet size, we bring more people in. So it's a proportional increase in the number of people we can say are now gainfully employed in Lagos State. It's a continuous build. As the market is evolving, as we are seeing the user behavior change, we will adapt our product and our business model to be able to meet those things, because at the end of the day, it is really about you and not about us. So Lagride is a service built by Lagosians for Lagosians.